So what kind of equipment does a legendary producer like myself use to make all of the dope instrumentals and beats that you hear on this channel? And does gear really matter? I'm answering all of your questions coming up. Let's go. What's up everybody, I am Legend, your favorite traveling musician here on YouTube. Today, I'm going to be answering a lot of your questions about what equipment I use to produce the beats that you hear on my channel, kind of giving you a studio tour of my studio slash my room, because this is also my room. And then I'm also going to be talking about if gear actually even really matters for people making music. I know a lot of people have been asking me these kinds of questions, so I figured I'd make a video about it. So, but just real quick before I begin this video, I just want to make sure that you go down and hit that like button as many times as you can. It'll help my channel and my videos get in front of a lot more people. Also, if you're not already subscribed, please feel free to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification so you'll get notified every single time I release a new video. As a producer, I would say the most important thing to me, a keyboard, obviously. So obviously the first thing that I'm going to point out is my MIDI controller. This is the Akai MPK Mini 25, the red version. This is only one of my MIDI controllers. I also have this one right here. Right here we have the Novation Launch Key 49, which is the big boy. It's supposed to go well with Ableton or something like that. A program that I don't use, but I basically just got it because I like that it has all these pads and all that stuff if I needed to use those pads. So I basically have this for like travel purposes, or if I'm playing like a really basic part, or if I have to go and get mobile somewhere. I bought one of these so that I can travel with it. If you're somebody who doesn't play keys, you know, it doesn't matter to you that you have to just hit this the octave button to get to the higher or lower registers, then by all means get one of these, because this thing is like really cheap. I think it's like 69 or 79 bucks when it's on sale, 100 bucks at most. But even if you want a regular sized keyboard, you can get one of these for like $125. So it's not really not that expensive. My second most important piece of equipment, as some of you guys know, I produce exclusively in Maschine. I don't use any other program. I don't use any other DAW. This baby right here, my Maschine Mark III. I used to use FL Studio, but back in 2011, my friend Roscoe introduced me to Maschine and the wonderful world of Native Instruments. So I've been sold ever since, and I've been making beats in Maschine ever since. This just came out late last year, but this thing is great for sampling. It's great for, you know, doing the drum pads and all that stuff. You know, all this stuff. And also, since I use the Maschine software, it integrates perfectly with the Maschine software. I can browse on the screens right here. I can do, you know, edit the sounds within this whole thing just using these knobs and all this stuff. I can cut and paste. So this is another piece of equipment that is on my desk that I use. I love this thing so much. If you want to get a drum pad, I mean, there's other options out there. There's other cheaper options out there. There's even the Maschine Micro, which is I think $349. So the next piece of equipment I'm going to talk about here is audio interfaces, and this is something that I use on a bunch of different occasions, whether it be to hook up my monitors to my computer sound, or to, you know, record vocals or instruments or anything like that. The one that I'm using right now is the FOCUSRITE SCARLETT Solo. I got FOCUSRITE because I used to have an Mbox Mini, which is by DigiDesign, but these things, every time you update your MacBook, something happens with Pro Tools equipment and DigiDesign where your stuff just stops working. So after I upgraded my MacBook to the latest software, this thing stopped working and I couldn't record songs. I couldn't use this to put my speakers through it. It wasn't working for anything. So it's basically a useless box to me now, a paperweight. So this thing is really handy. It's really small, also mobile. I can take it with me if I want to, and it doesn't take up too much space. Also, the cool thing about this is if you don't have a preamp for your vocals, this thing has a built-in preamp from what I understand. So it's not the best, obviously, because it's in this little box and it's not specifically made to be a preamp, but this thing will help your vocals sound a little bit more better than it would if you were recording from like a USB microphone. So I recommend this thing for anybody who has monitors, they want to run their computer sound through their monitors, or anybody who's recording vocals. Ditch the USB mic stuff and get you one of these. Step up your game a lot. Now also, since I'm on the subject, these monitors right here with the yellow cones, those are the KRK Rocket 5 speakers. I don't have this big huge room, so I don't need big huge monitors. I just basically bought the I think those are the small smallest size you can get, but I've been using them in my room ever since. The sound, I never turn those things up full blast because it just rattles everything. So the sound is really good, especially if you have them on the foam pads that they're supposed to be on. The sound is tremendous. But yeah, the KRK Rocket 5 speakers, they're only like $300 for both of them. Now I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you guys about the hard drives. I have 6 external hard drives, which can be quite a task to keep up with, which is why I do things like this. So this is one of my 4 gigabyte USB 3.0 hard drives. This is where I keep all of my native instruments and complete sound effects. So just to keep myself organized, I'll say, I put all of my VSTs, all of my sounds, all of my drum kits and everything that has to do with music creation on this hard drive specifically, because I also have another one of these that has the Apple logo on it, and that's for all of my vlog footage. Another hard drive that I highly recommend for anybody, because this thing is fast, but it's not as fast as one of these. This hard drive is a USB 3.0 hard drive. This hard drive is a Thunderbolt external hard drive. It's basically a different connector. It's much faster, and also this orange rubber stuff around it makes it a little bit more shockproof, so if I dropped it I would have a little bit more of a chance of saving what's on here. If you buy one of these and you put your VSTs on here, your programs and your sounds and all that stuff is going to load a lot faster. So this thing is really a lifesaver for people that have the money. It is a bit expensive. This is only a 1 terabyte version of the Lacy rugged hard drive, Thunderbolt, whatever it is, but they do have a 2 terabyte version, and I think maybe even a 4 or something like that, but it gets really expensive. So some of these other hard drives are just internal hard drives that turned into externals. I got a 500 gigabyte hard drive back there that just has like random footage on it. I basically use this for like, you know, file management. Aside from these small ones, which I also buy to be mobile. So these things, they don't need an adapter to work in your computer. You just plug it in the USB or the Thunderbolt and it'll fire up and work. You don't have to like flip a switch and all that stuff, which is good if I'm traveling and all that stuff, or I'm making music like on a plane or outside or something like that. It's really dope. And then obviously my computer that I use is a MacBook Pro. It's a 13-inch MacBook Pro that I got, I think, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, after my other MacBook crashed. Basically just a MacBook Pro. You guys can look up the specs for that. It's really simple. Macs are like the best computers ever made on planet Earth. I don't care what anybody says. They are expensive, but they're expensive for a reason. When it comes to the headphones that I use when I'm producing, I've always liked, and I know some people are gonna shoot me for this, but I've always liked Beats by Dre headphones. I have the Beats Studio because the Pros sound horrible to me. I don't know. I like how they look, but before this I actually had some Sonys that I was using, which they were terrible as far as like being true to the sound that I'm actually making. But these, I like these headphones. They're really well made. I've had these for quite a while now, and the only thing that's happened is the stuff came off. Like the battery life is good, and these are like 2 years old. Then we're gonna talk about what I actually use to record with. The microphone. It's the Bluebird. I bought a reflex filter to kind of, you know, keep the sound within here, and then this pop filter I bought separately because this one didn't come with it. At the time it was a $400 or $500 microphone. I think it's gone down in price since then. They definitely do have cheaper microphones than this, so you can still get your money's worth if you get something that's a little bit cheaper. But I personally got this because I wanted something that was in between like the Dragonfly and all their other top of the line microphones and like the lower end stuff. So this is like a mid-range version, a mid-range microphone, I would say. I bought this little stand to put on my desk so I can record from my desk and not have to stand up, because my setup here is limited. So, you know, this is pretty much the setup that I have. It used to be a lot more like keyboards and drum machines. I used to have 2 machine drum sets, okay? I used to have 4 MIDI keyboards. I had a bunch of other stuff that I wasn't using, that wasn't necessary for me. So this is what I'm going to talk about. Does gear really matter? I will say, in my own personal experience, gear matters to an extent, but it doesn't matter as much as you may think. All of the songs that I've produced on my channel could have easily come out of this thing right here, because not only does it have drum pads, not only does it have keys, but it's got knobs if you map out the controls to do the exact same thing that my machine does. It's got the octaves, it's got a sustain pedal here if you want to do that. It's just cumbersome to have to, I want to get to a higher register, I play this and I go do 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 boom. If somebody really is on a budget and they want to make the type of beats that I make, and they just don't want to spend thousands of dollars like I did buying all this equipment, all you have to do is buy one of these, and you can really make it work with this stuff. Like, it just depends on who's using the equipment, I would say. And one thing that I've also learned firsthand experience is gear doesn't matter, it's who's using the gear. I've seen in plenty of cases where people buy all this top of the line stuff and their music still sounds like garbage. The thing that you want to do is you want to master what you can afford. You want to master what you already have. Once you can do that, and once you have money to spend, then you upgrade if you feel like it's necessary to upgrade. 60 bucks plus a computer, like, you can make everything work on this. Does having all this stuff improve your workflow and your production game and all that stuff? Yes, it definitely does. I would say if I had to produce on just this MIDI keyboard, this little 25 thing, a lot of the songs that I have on here I would have not have finished because I would have gotten impatient, because the workflow would have been terrible. Gear does matter in the sense that if you don't have the right software, the right sounds and all that stuff, you're limited in what you can actually produce. If you only have 5 sounds, obviously you're limited in what kind of music you can make. I will say you don't necessarily need an entire like sound library like Complete 11, but it does help your production game. But you can even start with how I started. I just bought Massive, and actually Massive came with Machine. That's the VST, and I was using that for a while, and that did, you know, it worked wonders for me. There's also some free stuff out there that you can get as well. I don't know, this is all the equipment that I use to get the sound that I have personally for my music. All my music that you've ever heard has been produced on this stuff. So I guess that's it. I mean, I don't really have anything else to say about what I use, because this is pretty much all that I use. But if you guys have any other questions, just let me know down in the comments. I can tell you like specifics or anything that you need to know. Just let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell. Thank you guys for watching. I know this wasn't such a interesting, like, much going on video, but I know I gotta have some of these videos every now and then too, because people ask a lot of questions. I would say from here on out, just make do with what you got. And if you do have the money to spend, then I just gave you some recommendations on what to buy. So with that said, guys, continue to live your life, continue to do the things, chase your dreams and all that stuff. I'm out of here. Thank you for watching, and be legendary.